Salaki, I got a phone call, so I'm gonna make this. This is gonna be the part two. Damn it, man. I hate when that happens, but we're gonna continue in the spirit. I don't want to quench it. I'll just upload a part two. I'm gonna read it again. Revelations 14 and verse 13. It says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them." So the works of Ariah are following them now, because look at the fruits of the signs. Look at the men that have rose up through the four corners of the planet Earth, different camps that have risen up, different brotherhoods that have gotten closer through the meeting of like minds in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, so I read this to say that the works do follow him because he is a great man. All right, but you got guys that want to talk and say certain things that, oh man, he did this, so that makes him not a man of the Lord. All right, but it also says this in Sirach. Okay, this is the book of Sirach 3 and verse 12. And it says, let me read it. This is Sirach 3 and verse 12. And it reads, I don't want to have that. Let's do the parallel. We'll do the Revised Standard. And it says, "My child, help your father in his old age, and do not grieve him as long as he liveth." Let me see. Sirach, let's do KJ. Okay. It says, "My son, help thy father." It says, "My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth." So even if you see men that do get up in age, and guess what? You're supposed to watch it, even because your mind starts slipping. Different things starts happening because we're in these weak bodies. We're not in our strength like we once was, and especially now with the GMO, the lack of nutrients, a lot of things we're deficient on. But I read that just to bring up the point and saying that, look, the man was up in age, okay, and our apostles and elders have told us of this, and we lean on what their outlook on the situation is they believe that he's going to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord has brought it out of him now. He's in the spirit world and he's blessed. Okay, he's at rest, and he's going to come back in his lot and be in what? In the part of the elect, be raised up, and Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to deliver the elect on the earth, and it says the dead in Christ shall rise first. All right, because he might have been off in the understanding of this current camp that he was representing when it comes to the God said and comforter. But when you look at the truth wise, he didn't turn his back on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He didn't turn his back on the names. All right. So he still has that, that knowledge and wisdom in him. Okay. And let's go right here. This is 1 Kings 1 to verse 13. Okay. And it says, but King Solomon loved many strange women. Now, this is Solomon. Now, I read this just to point out when it says a man get an age, right? But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Let's go down here. And it says, "For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord, perfect with the Lord his power, as was the heart of David his father." Okay. And what did David do? We have a situation with David too. And it says, "For Solomon went after Asheroth and the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom and the abomination of the Ammonites. Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father." That's why we know that Solomon would be Yahushua coming back and to receive the stripes of men that was promised to him when he received the gift of wisdom. And the Lord told him that you will be beaten with the stripes of men. And then you had that crucifixion that shows you that was preordained. All right. But to show you that Solomon, which we know is Yahushua, he went off. He went off in the time of the going after idolatry, man. Okay, but is Solomon? Can we say Solomon is not wasn't righteous? We know that Solomon is righteous because he came back as Yahweh Shai. And he said that. He says, here's one that's greater than Solomon. But he understood when he was Yahweh Shai, he walked without blemish. That's why he was the lamb without spot, without sin. Because he came back, he didn't deal with a woman. Women was his Achilles tendon in that life of Solomon. And he came back and he conquered that. So can we say, because this is a clear cut example of a man going off into idolatry? What you see, what was that? The God sent comforter. That was a form of idolatry, because that guy he wasn't the Holy Spirit. That he wasn't the comforter that was promised that Yahweh Shah would send to us. Okay, which we know that, and it's already been established. But in the same point, are we gonna say Solomon wasn't in the truth and Solomon wasn't righteous because of the acts that he did and the things that he did? But did not the Lord use him to build the temple? Did not the Lord use, and his name was peace? Do we not have peace under his reign? So that's to show you right here. These guys are talking and don't understand the full spectrum of the scriptures. Okay, just like when the Lord jacked Job up and his friends spoke, and the Most High got angry with his friends because the way they spoke to Job, not knowing that it was a wager that was being tested, that Job was being tried. Okay, and they try to say that Job was being wicked. Okay, but that's the point of understanding these scriptures. You can't go with emotions, because that's what these other dudes are using, emotions and a man passing away to try to prove their evil ass point. But it shows that they were never of us. That mentality is not a good person to have around you, that's willing to use certain situations to the best of their best, to use a situation to better themselves and to make themselves look good. Because that's what it's all about. It's vainglory. That's what it is. It says some preach Yahweh Shai for contentions and strife. He's not pushing this truth for the so-called sealing of the elect and the feeding of the sheep. It's just to say that we're wrong. The GMS is wrong. Anything they do is wrong. Then throw the name out. Throw the name out. Because where you learn the name from. See that? Where you going to get the high holy days? They taught you that too. All the things you see the sticky situation guys get into. But this is just, I want to make sure I'm not going to state it on emotions. This is just going to the scriptures to show and prove points. Now let's go to, let's see here. Let me see here. This is just a situation with I'm trying to pull it up and let's do KJ. Not the KK. See, David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto David, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house and followed him a mess of meat from the king. And Uriah slept at the door of the king's house, and all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when it says, and when they had told David, saying Uriah went not down to his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou from thy journey? When didst thou not go down unto thy house? And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open field. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? as thou livest, and as thou soul liveth, and I will not do this thing. So let's go. The main point is David committed adultery, man. Is David not a man after the Most High's own heart now? Is David now excluded? But these guys want to push that David is back, and David is not who the apostles and elders say it is, and but look what David did, man. That was clear adultery and murder, man, of a man that had integrity. If you see read here, because it looks like if you read it, it says that what he had integrity for his people, for his fellow warmen, or if you want to say that. But the point I wanted to bring this out is to show that David went off. So we should denounce David for everything and throw David's name. But David, the seed line of David, it says is going to sit on the throne forever. So that's the point. The most high Yahweh Shema Shai, this is his movie. How he wants it. We got to live it out and play it out. But I just wanted to bring the point out to say, look, great men go into that time and go off, but they're still considered great men, and their works do follow them. Because we speak about David today. We speak about David today and still have reverence for him. That's why these guys even push that David, because they believe they David and believe there are these great men, because it's pride, man. It's just pride. It's just wanting to be above your means. That's why it says wisdom, knowledge, puff it up. Okay? Knowledge, puff it up. It's the book of Daniel 12 and verse 13. And it says, but as for you, but go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So that's the reincarnation. Okay? That's the reincarnation fact of it. It was told to Daniel he's going to come back in his lot. So men go in the spirit world, come back in their lot. Go in the spirit world, come back in their lot. But their works do follow them. And that's what we have to say, that this Ariah would have to be a great man coming back in the reincarnation to receive such a understanding when it comes to the 12 tribe chart. So these guys are not seeing in the spirit, man. They're truly not. This is the book of Romans 14 and verse 8. Romans 14 and verse 8. And it says, for whether we live unto the Lord. Whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live therefore or die, we are the Lord's, regardless. So you talking now, this man is at peace, he's at rest. But for bringing these situations out and trying to defame this man, false prophet, that's just you putting, salt. You just putting salt on you putting lemon juice on your own cuts, man. Because that's what it's breaking down to, a pride type of thing and dishonor. Because guess what? This man is still, he's still beloved, man. He's still beloved. And that's a sign to show that there's evil coming down the pipe. There's evil coming down the pipe, okay? The examples. And then Peter himself denied the Lord 3 times. Are we supposed to throw Peter out of the mix now too? Peter denied his own teacher right there in front of him, man. And Yahushua told him that you're going to deny me twice before the cock crowed. So that was already set up, because that the men's goings of the Lord. So you think Peter wanted to deny the Lord and get in that time? And, come on, man. He had to feel bad about that. But it still happened. So we did denounce Peter, which is as King David in the reincarnation, which is the rock that the Lord is building the church on. No, we're not supposed to denounce that. But things happen. Okay, but that doesn't take away from their love in the spirit that Yahweh Shem Yahushai cares for, and to give that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to, and to use them as pillars in this truth. All right. So I just wanted to make this quick point. I didn't want to make it long. I just, I felt, a type of way when I seen that video. It didn't set right with me, man. It's just, it's very disrespectful. At the end of the day, it's a very disrespectful thing. And then it shows you that these scoffers are just, they're very hateful people, man. They're very hateful people. They're not doing it for the sake of any kind of edification. It's just to uplift them and to make sure that their supposed adversaries are condemned. Okay. which, you know, hey, it's the Lord's movie. This is First Thessalonians 4 and verse 16. And it reads, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangels, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first." All right. So we got to understand that Ariah is going to come back, and he's going to be in his fullness. All right. And he is going to be in that the kingdom of heaven. Okay. As an Israelite, not no heathen or anything like that. He's going to come back as an Israelite. Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 44 and verse 1. Ecclesiasticus. And it says, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us." Okay. That's why it says that Elijah is going to turn the hearts of the children back to the fathers and the fathers back to the children. So this is the, just to bring that out, this is what we're doing it to let us praise great men. All right. Just like great men in our history, guess what? They went off too. And we have examples of that, but that does not take away from their greatness. Okay. We have to understand that the Lord has do things that we can't understand. His ways are not our ways. All right. But we know that the fruit that came out of this man and the fruit that came out of the sign that he produced is very evident and well known. Millions. But up to these guys, we just be sitting around chilling, looking at each other and praising them. That's what they want. That's the derangedness. And some guys have to understand that, especially if you haven't had a father figure in your life, a lot of these guys have a resentment towards a masculine figure in their lives, man. And the masculine figure now is the apostles and the elders and men that have been taught. So they want to take that out because they haven't really put on that new man. All right. So I'm going to read it again. Ecclesiasticus 44 and 144. "Let us praise famous men and our fathers that begot us." Okay. And this video is for that, and to show, this man Ariah, he's restful, and he done great work, and his works will follow him. All right. So with that, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. We say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom. And as always, more now than ever, keep faith.
Exodus 4:22. "And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh and Moses, go and say to the Egyptian king, Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Even my firstborn." Even my firstborn. What do we mean by my firstborn? "Above all nations that are upon the face of this earth." Give me Deuteronomy 7, 6, and 7. I'm going to let him read for a while, Mike. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 6 and 7. "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." Not all nations on this earth, but Israel is the holy people. The Israelites are the holy people. "The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself." It said the Lord thy God has chosen Israel to be a special people unto himself. What does unto himself mean? Only. Only.